Hey everyone, thank you for watching my video today. Love. So today I'm making this video about the narcissist. If you guys don't know what a narcissist is basically someone who is very similar to a child in the sense of that they are ruled by fear. And the reason why they're ruled by fear is because they tend to lie a lot. They tend to lie a lot, but yeah, they're ruled by fear because they don't like to take accountability. So they lie to keep the people around them, their friends and family, kind of in this space of delusion where they can, manipulate situations. And they do this by gaslighting. They do other types of manipulation technique based on what works with who they're with. But the point of this video is just to basically just highlight how it's possible for narcissistic people to change. Okay, so because they are ruled by fear, what tends to happen is they never fully develop a connection with their self, so they never get to experience their fullest, greatest potential. Instead, they indulge in apathy, and apathy just obviously means that you're not doing anything, so you're not gonna learn to become self-aware because you're not actually moving anywhere. All you're doing is just letting life happen to you, really. So they don't end up learning the value of what they could produce, so they, the growth doesn't happen. So they haven't learned self-awareness, and what happens is that they but they learn behavior that's negative behavior that has negative effects on people, right? Because they learn that they can get away with certain types of behavior. That's why you have people in this world that don't tell the truth, that people lie, stuff like that. That's where it comes from. Obviously everybody knows that you can lie and whatnot, but the difference between someone who is a narcissistic person is that they are a pathological liar, which means that they just never tell the truth because it's worked for them. So because it's worked for them, they haven't learned self-awareness. They end up kind of racking up a lot of bad karma, and so they end up with a distorted kind of perception of how the universe works. Their kind of warped experience of how the universe works, right, which is a very negative experience. They start to feel like they're not getting their blessings, which they aren't, because they've racked up a lot of bad karma. But a part of the reason why they've become like that is obviously number one, behavior is learned, and what we know is what we like. People stick to comfort because they've learned this type of behavior. They've learned that unpredictability is a good thing, so they have a lot of unpredictable behavior. So when you're dealing with them, show love, because that's what we're meant to do, show love always. But with your own boundaries, set your own boundaries, because guess what, you have to also show love to self. So yeah, narcissistic people, they're not self-aware, they're not, and this is what we need to do, make them aware, so that way they can adjust. But yeah, so narcissistic people basically they process information differently, and that's why I say start with love, lead with love, because it's like dealing with a child. Like I said at the beginning, it's like dealing with a child. So start with love, let them know that it's not an attack, because they have a very negative, distorted perception of what this reality, this 3D thing in this 3D is a process. So obviously you allow them to figure out their own process of understanding stuff, and articulate it as well. And this is another thing as well, because narcissistic people act from their subconscious. What you find is that they're not connected to their heart center, they're not connected to their heart chakra. So what happens is they're not aware. That's why they process stuff not incorrectly, but in a different way, Yeah, what I mean by different way is that, in this universe, everything works with intention, everything, right? If you're trying to do something, you're trying to do it correctly, you have to have your intention set if you want to get it done, in a way that you want to get it done, smoothly, purposefully, right? If you're somebody who is living from your subconscious and you are not aware of how you're making decisions, the repercussions of your decisions, you are going to be living in a very uncomfortable, big karmic cycle. You're not going to be happy. So what I'm saying is, if you know someone who is a narcissistic person and they are not aware, make them aware, because guess what? Only good can come from learning to be self-aware. Self-awareness cannot bring a negative thing, and it may feel negative initially because you may not want to accept certain things, but the growth post that is so worth it. So yeah, you know, be understanding, because people acting from their subconscious. Should I say that not only are narcissistic people acting from their subconscious, a lot of people are, because a lot of people have trauma. They may not know they have trauma, yada yada yada. I've been saying this a lot of lately, right? But basically what I'm trying to say is that this world that we currently live in is ruled by people who are narcissistic, right? So for example, let's say Donald Trump, he's a narcissistic person, he's in control. Donald Trump has a lot of money. No one's going to tell that man no. No one's going to, you know what I'm saying? So that man does not learn to become self-aware, even though, you know, he's in a certain position. And this happens a lot in terms of kind of people working in certain fields that are narcissistic and have very bitter outlooks on the world, and they are dealing with other people. Anyway, it's a big thing. It's not just a thing that affects relationships or relationships as in interactions. To conclude, right, I believe that narcissism is something that is, let's say, curable, and the reason why I say that is because to become, let's say, you know, when people say people are woke, right, being woke is basically being conscious, right? So if somebody who is a narcissist becomes conscious, makes decisions based on stopping, using logic, thinking, weighing up the odds, looking at the bigger picture, that's what being conscious is, but not just being an autopilot, you know, running into habits. You're actually taking time and processing stuff slowly so you make better choices for yourself. Consciousness, right? If someone is able to become conscious, you are able to come out of a narcissistic cycle, but obviously free will is a thing, so that is up to that person to choose to become conscious. But what I'm trying to say is that narcissism doesn't have to be a thing, but it runs the world right now. It runs the fucking world, and no one's paying attention to it. So it affects everybody and everything, because there is no test to see if somebody's a narcissistic person, but there is a test for corona, right? And obviously I know corona, we're in a pandemic, blah blah blah, they need a test, but we have been in a fucking pandemic, sorry for my language, of narcissistic people since the beginning of time. Why is it that this is not something that is spoken about? This is not something that we address. This is not something that we test for if we're hiring people, because people in that state of mind are not people that make great decisions. But at the same time, I know it's life, and we've got to live. I just feel like we need to pay more attention to ourselves, pay more attention to certain things that we think are not important. For example, how somebody is, you know, how somebody processes information. And for kids as well, narcissistic parents breed narcissistic children, and you know, codependent children as well, and that's no way to live. Real life, no way to live at all. So tips from me personally, I feel like if you have to deal with somebody who is a narcissist, I think the best thing to do is show love, but also highlight your boundaries. Let them know that if something is not okay, the truth will always win. Be honest, but be honest with compassion. People will always say it's not what you say, it's how you say it, and I think when dealing with a narcissistic person, that is the best way, because you may have to work with these people, you may have to be in a relationship with these people, or be a co-parent with these people, so you have to find the best way to deal with it, but not just because you have to. If somebody is a narcissistic person and they want to change, there is a way. If you feel like, okay, somebody said to me, oh look, I'm like this and I want to be a different way, there is a way to change. You can just, again, become conscious of your behavior, and make better choices that is good for the people around you, but also good for yourself. But yeah, so thank you for watching my video. I hope you found it useful. I just want to say, if you found anything in this kind of rant of mine / kind of information giving useful, please share. If you want more information about certain stuff, if you want help with dealing with people like this or situations like this, email me or contact me on my social media, I should say. This fucking road, bruv. This road. Anyway. But yeah, just let me know, give me a shout. Reflection by Trisan on all social media. But you know, this is a thing that's affecting the world. So I do feel like we should all kind of, you know, stop living in the land of fear as well, and also highlight to people if things are not okay for you, for them, for whoever. But again, do it with love, do it with compassion. Like, it's time for change, real life. So love and light. See you guys later.